we have an update on a story we've been following very closely. It's about how some vaping companies have been able to avoid FDA regulation even as they remain popular among kids. You'll recall we recently sat down with two men who present themselves anyway as top executives at Puff Bar. Now, the company makes a range of vaping products, including sweet flavors, and it's important to point out 85% of teens who vape use products with candy or fruit flavors. The FDA has tried to crack down, banning flavored cartridges like Juul Pods early last year. But thanks to an apparent loophole, Puff Bar is still on the market. And now there are renewed questions about why that's the case.
Nearly 2 years ago, it seemed like the federal government had put an end to flavored vaping products.
The new policy cracking down on the sale of flavored electronic cigarettes.
But today,
what are your top sellers in terms of flavors?
Probably Cool Mint, banana ice, blueberry ice.
Nick Manasse and Patrick Beltran are co-CEOs of Puff Bar. The 27-year-olds live a fast life on social media.
I own Puff Bar.
And they control the biggest company in America still selling the kind of fruit-flavored nicotine products popular with kids.
People always say, like, you guys are trying to sidestep or side-skirt, kind of laws. And we're not, if there's a law that would order us off the market tomorrow, we would pull our products off the market tomorrow.
In fact, the Food and Drug Administration has challenged Puff Bar before. In a warning letter last year, it told the company it did not have FDA marketing authorization required of all new tobacco products. But in February, they relaunched with what they say is a tobacco-free nicotine that doesn't fall under FDA rules.
And so you're back with essentially the same product, but the stuff inside, instead of tobacco nicotine, is synthetic nicotine.
Yes.
Pretty clever.
Yeah, I think it ended up being the better alternative.
Synthetic nicotine is created through a chemical process that does not involve tobacco leaves. So the argument is Puff Bar and any other e-cigarette that follows this model is no longer subject to the FDA's rules for tobacco products.
The FDA has just been slow and tentative, and now they're getting punked by two 27-year-olds.
Illinois Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy has been critical of Puff Bar since early 2020.
When I go to their website and I see strawberry banana and raspberry ice and banana ice flavors being sold, I know exactly who they're appealing to. It's mainly kids.
Beltran and Manasse say their products are intended exclusively for adult smokers hoping to switch off cigarettes, a market they are so dedicated to serving, they argue they had to innovate.
These loopholes have caused us to look for alternative ways to still continue to provide our consumers and customers with the products that they need.
We see more enjoyment with our product now.
We think there's definitely less byproduct compared to tobacco-derived nicotine.
What do you mean by byproduct?
Less byproduct, less toxins, less chemicals.
I'm talking just purely from an enjoyment standpoint of how people are enjoying our products.
It's cleaner.
Bunk. Total bunk. That's not why they're doing it.
Dr. Robert Jackler is a physician turned tobacco researcher at Stanford.
Would you call this a loophole that companies are rushing through to stay on the market?
It is an Oklahoma land rush going through a very wide loophole.
He sees the turn to synthetic nicotine as part of a decades-long effort by the tobacco industry to evade regulations.
Every time the government brings in regulations, the industry can innovate around it. They have the smartest people to think up ways of skirting and undermining the intent of regulation.
Beltran and Manasse both told us they think the FDA's worries are misplaced.
But you're not saying, hold on, let's wait till the data comes out. You're just saying, sorry, FDA, I see a way around you.
Traditional cigarettes on the market right now have the FDA stamp of approval, but those are not safe. So why should the U.S. people or the people, trust the FDA to be stamping approvals for the safety of products when the FDA knowingly is allowing cigarettes to be on the market that are killing 480,000 people a year?
The FDA doesn't technically approve tobacco products, but it does determine whether they meet legal requirements. And the agency hasn't yet taken a stand on synthetic nicotine. On its website, the FDA admits it's possible synthetic nicotine would not be regulated as a tobacco product, adding it plans to decide on a case-by-case basis.
So is the issue here the FDA or Puff Bar?
I think it's both.
Congressman Krishnamurthy says he's working on legislation to clarify the government's role in regulating synthetic nicotine.
I will make sure that it's crystal clear in the law that they should and can regulate in this area.
But Dr. Jackler says the FDA's options are already perfectly clear.
The FDA has authority to take these products off the market. If they're not tobacco products, and that's what these companies assert, then they're a drug, and they should be taken off until approved.
Why doesn't the FDA do that if it's so simple?
That is the $10 billion question.
And I wish we could tell you we had a good answer to that question. We once again reached out to the FDA, and it once again declined an interview with us, saying that, quote, the FDA is actively investigating and considering how to address such products. The agency says it looks forward to working with Congress on a potential fix. The FDA has, by the way, pulled some 5 million e-cigarette products off shelves in the past couple years, and every single one of them could spring back through this synthetic nicotine loophole.
There's a statement said in sports when it comes to teams trying to win. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Do you believe this is simply the case? Like, they're finding these loopholes and these ways around in order to become rich?
I think some companies are, but what is also important to point out is I've met a lot of adults who have switched off traditional cigarettes using an e-cigarette, often with flavor.
Right.
And so while there are irresponsible companies in this space, there are also responsible ones, and the FDA has got to sort one from another and help adults, if that's the public health science, that's what it says,
right,
while keeping it out of the hands of kids. It's a tough balance they've got to figure out.
And there's still many questions. You know, that phrase getting punked by a couple of 27-year-olds, but then the owners of Puff Bar made a good point where they said the FDA hasn't taken cigarettes off the market.
It's true.
Absolutely
All you
right.
can go is
Absolutely right.
All right. Thank you, Tony.